Hey, everybody, it's Scott Steen with winnersandwhiners.com coming to you with our very first NFL show, everybody, on Today in Sports Betting. Happy Saturday, happy weekend. Scott and I are going to be taking a look at the NFL card and narrowing it down to our three favorite plays. And, yeah, I'm pretty excited. We're going heads up, buddy. We're going heads up in college football. We're going heads up in the NFL. It's the old school versus new school here as the old man and the kid go at it. You ready? You ready?
I've been called worse things than the kid, so that works for me.
Take it while you can get it, my friend. It goes fast. All right, I'll let I'll let you start off, Scott. I had a pretty good start to the NFL season. I was lucky enough to hit the over, hit the Chiefs, hit a little had the Chiefs to win by 14 or more at a nice price. So we'll see if I can stay hot. I should retire right now because, like I said, I hit everything in sight. But that's not the way it works. We're going on. So give me your first play, my friend.
All right, so the first play, I'm going to be going with an underdog here for the sake of – I know the show we're doing totals and spreads. It's going to be on the Patriots and Dolphins game, and I'm going to be taking the Dolphins +7. I was mostly available at 6.5, finally went to 7, and I pulled the trigger. It's at +7 at -110 on FanDuel. Simply put, I just simply think that the Patriots, especially with a brand-new quarterback in Cam Newton, curious what to see there. But I'm not going to immediately assume that everything's going to work out perfectly in his first start with the Belichick system. Plus, people can talk about how good the Patriots' defense is from last year. Stephon Gilmore's still there. Of course, he's amazing. But people keep forgetting that a lot of key faces from this Patriots team are either gone because of free agency or gone because they opted out. So The Dolphins, who won Week 17 in New England, now play the Patriots again. And New England's defense is going to be a lot weaker than it was last year. Plus, the Dolphins also got a lot better based on who they acquired. They got Van Noy from the Patriots, should help their linebacking core. They also ended up getting Byron Jones to help out that secondary. I think the Dolphins +7 is way too many points. I think this game should be around a 3 or 4 point game.
All right, very good. Don't hate it. Don't hate it a bit. I think 7's a good number there. Yeah, like I said, we waited. Been waiting on that one to go to 7 all day. Bet Online really dragging their feed. They've still got 6.5 to use at -125. So TikTok anytime now, boys. My first.
Assuming that means you're going to pull the trigger on 7 if it goes to 7.
Maybe. It's not one of my favorites, but
would you agree that that number seems a bit high? With all the uncertainty facing New England.
Yeah, with New England missing so many parts on defense, not to mention Cam coming into a new system there.
Cam can play very well, but I don't know why everyone's putting so much faith into him when you haven't seen him play in roughly a year.
No, and he was, pretty bad last year. So
correct.
So problem and all that, but
plus there doesn't have any deep play threats, so I expect a lower scoring game for the Patriots. I think the Dolphins could easily finish within the number. All right,
taking an underdog shot here in the NFC Central, Packers and Vikings. Green Bay.
Well, the NFC Central doesn't exist, so I think you mean the NFC North.
NFC North. Sorry, yeah, you're right. We switched from baseball to football there, and I didn't keep up. The NFC Norris division. How about that?
It's a throwback.
Chris Berman puts it. Packers took care of business twice last year against the Vikings. In one of those games, Dalvin Cook went nuts. They ran for 196 yards total. The Packers were still able to get the victory in that game. I think the Minnesota Vikings have a lot of questions on defense. They've got a lot of holes there to fill. And the Packers, they still have the problem. They don't really have anybody to throw the ball to. But, Aaron Rodgers tends to make everybody around him better. They still have Aaron Jones, and they still have a pretty solid defensive core. I'll take the Packers plus the points here, catching 2.5 from the Vikings.
Okay.
Thoughts on that?
I kind of disagree with you a little bit there, but I understand the logic. Green Bay's done well against them in the past. Kirk Cousins, you definitely feel better about Aaron Rodgers than Kirk Cousins in that spot. I think there's a reason why Minnesota's favored. I think that Minnesota, first of all, always plays better at home than they do on the road. But it's mostly because Green Bay, I feel like everyone can agree, kind of overachieved last year based on how they performed, especially based on point differential. They might have been one of the weaker 13-3 teams of all time. But the receiving core is such a disaster that it's a matter of, besides Devontae Adams, they did absolutely nothing to address any of their needs during the offseason. And I think Minnesota, despite Kirk Cousins, which I know is the huge, question mark whenever you bet on the Vikings, I think they're better at arguably every other position. So I'll lean to Minnesota. But I understand the logic that you're going with.
Yeah, and I know there's a lot of heat on Minnesota this year. They're one of the darlings.
I think they're going to win the division. So I lean to Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
You can disagree. I just personally think Minnesota's the best team in the division.
Oh no, I do disagree. I think there's going to be a different team that wins the division. It's spoiler alert. It's neither one of these two. So
They're going Chicago. Okay, very nice spoiler there.
I'm not going with Chicago.
Detroit.
I think Detroit's going to have a good team.
That makes one of us.
I really do.
Okay, we'll see about that.
They've got a lot of firepower on the offensive side of the ball, buddy.
Yeah, I know. God is my fantasy team. Might not play week 1.
Yeah, I know. I've got him as well. I saw that, and I'm still stuck on this Green Bay team. I wanted to see. I really thought that Lazard would come into his own by now. We watched him play when he was at Iowa State.
He has spurts. He just doesn't do it consistently.
I saw him in person 3 times. He's got such great size.
Very talented.
Good speed. But, a guy that just seems to go in the tank. And, you're not an equanimous St. Brown fan?
He's never really healthy. I know that Scantling is also okay, but he also doesn't play that much. They just don't have any receivers.
Do you know the St. Brown story? Do you know their family story?
No, I do not. I know that he went to Notre Dame, but I don't know anything else.
He's got 2 brothers.
Okay.
He's got Amon-Ra St. Brown, and I can't remember. His dad was a world-class bodybuilder, and his mom was an athlete. And it was kind of, I don't know if you know the Todd Marinovich story, but it was kind of like the Todd Marinovich story, only not as crazy.
So he was just bred to be a football player.
Yes, they all played. Like his brother played, I think going into his last season at USC. His other brother, they all played major college football, and they're all projected to be possible NFL players. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Look, it's really, really interesting. Look up the
Cool.
St. Brown brothers.
I know about the Marinovich story. There was an ESPN 30 for 30 about it.
And it's not quite as intense. Like his dad wasn't crazy like Marinovich's dad was, but they've been on the program since they were knee high to a jackrabbit. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. But that is a good tip for everybody. If you don't know the St. Brown story, I usually talk about it.
For the sake of it, though, just to backtrack, I'm leaning Minnesota there, but I can understand why you would take Green Bay. Good.
I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go to the AFC here, and
you're going for a second consecutive pick. I thought it was my turn.
Yeah, that's your pick. That's right. You started on this one too. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So that's what I thought. Okay. Anyway, so my second pick for this one, once you overruled player props, I end up going back to a spread. It's going to be on the Colts. I'm going to take the -8 at -115 on DraftKings. I saw it at 9 on Fox, but it's at 8.5 in some other spots. Simply put, I'm not saying it's going to be as bad as the Dolphins versus the Ravens week 1 from last year, but I think people are really underestimating how bad this Jaguars team is going to be. And the Colts, despite the fact that you might not like Phillip Rivers, I'm not the biggest Phillip Rivers fan, this team up front should absolutely destroy Jacksonville on the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. Yeah. The Colts still have a very solid offensive line. The Jaguars traded their 2 best defensive linemen during the offseason. And on the defensive line, the Colts also got DeForest Buckner, who definitely should help get after Minshew. And the Jaguars can't run the ball. So you can make an argument maybe a backdoor cover is an issue. I really think the Colts could score 30 points in this game. I think they're going to average 5 yards a carry, and they can pretty much do whatever they want. And as long as Rivers doesn't turn the ball over too much, I think the Colts will win by double digits. So my second play is going to be on the Colts -8 and -115 on DraftKings.
That's not terrible. I'm not a Minshew fan. I like him, but
I think Minshew's fine. He's in a terrible situation right now, and you're relying pretty much solely on garbage time for him to.
He's a dump off guy. He's a check down guy. He's not.
I'm a little bit higher on him than that, but at the same point, that offensive line should get him killed. So The offensive line's not good. The defensive line's not good. The secondary is not very good. The linebacking core is okay, I guess, even though Myles Jack gets injured all the time. I just don't know what areas besides wide receiver you look at the Jaguars and say, I like this unit, and they don't have any. I think the Colts have a couple of solid units that they can use.
Yeah, the problem is they're not going to be able to run the football in that game, and they're going to become one dimensional, and we'll talk about that a lot as the season goes on. But that's
You're talking about Jacksonville, right?
yeah. If you can,
Yeah.
I'm talking about Jacksonville. If you can turn a team one dimensional,
That's what I'm saying. I think the Colts are just going to dominate the line of scrimmage, dominate time possession. Mack and or Taylor should run for, I don't know, 170, potentially 200 combined. I just don't think Jaguars are going to get really any stops. Do you like the Colts play there?
It's all right. I don't like laying 8.
It's not great. It's just a matter of I really think people are underestimating how bad this Jaguars team is going to be. Plus, you have seen this line climb from roughly 6 or 7 to 8.5 in some spots. So a lot of money is coming out on Indianapolis, and I think that is warranted because I think Jacksonville is going to be really, really bad.
All right. Well, I've still got it at an even 8, so we'll see there.
Yeah. Well, question. You said the 8. That's on BetOnline?
Yep.
What's the juice you got on there?
110. No
Okay,
juice.
then I'm going to switch mine from 115 to 110.
Okay.
From BetOnline.
Good enough. I'm going to AFC East. I'm going to fade your Jets, buddy.
Ouch. Right in the feels.
Bills minus 6.5.
I started a slogan I told you about. It's Gase for Chase because I want Jamar Chase.
I don't like this Jets team at all.
You shouldn't.
I don't think Sam Darnold is the answer, unless the question is who was the worst quarterback taken in the first round of that draft.
I actually think Darnold's okay. I think it's the defense that's the issue. When you get rid of Jamal Adams, you get rid of C.J. Mosley. They're not going to do anything defensively.
Well, that's certainly a problem as well. But
I think Darnold's okay. I think he's had no real offensive line his entire career, so I give him a little bit of a pass. He shows flashes every now and then, but yeah, I can understand your point. He hasn't exactly been put in the best situation, let's say.
Well, they didn't get any better by getting rid of Robbie Anderson. I'll tell you.
That's what I'm saying. They have no receivers. You got Le'Veon Bell in the backfield. They revamped the entire offensive line, which could either be really good or really bad. Can't be worse, but it might take a little while, especially with no preseason games, to get any actual chemistry. Right. So, and Buffalo's now has Stephon Diggs. They're supposed to win the division. That's probably all the reasons you were going to say. Buffalo's.
I'm a big Singletary fan as well.
You got him. You also got Zach Moss. They got a couple backs back there.
I think Singletary comes into his own this season, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him be a 1,000-yard rusher for Buffalo. I think they're going to try to take the pressure off of.
Assuming he stops fumbling the ball, he had some serious fumble issues in camp. But yeah,
we'll see. We'll see what it looks like in the game. So
in the game's double digits, you think the Bills won by like 7?
Frank Gore's on the Jets.
Yes, I did know that.
I thought he'd retired.
Nope, still around.
So he's got a chance to play with his kid.
Probably not. They'll take another 3-4 years, assuming his kid's even good enough to get into the league, which I don't think he is.
Where did we see him?
Southern Miss.
Southern Miss. That's right. I knew we'd seen him this year already.
So what number do you get? 5.5, 6.5?
6.5.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll take Bills. Bills minus 6.5. They struggled with the Jets last year. I just don't see that continuing. I think this is a team that on a mission. I think they're ready to dethrone New England there in the East. Give me the Bills minus 6.5. All right, okay. Third and final pick, buddy.
So this one's very obscure. I was thinking about doing the Seahawks minus 2.5, but it's a little bit too public-y for me. So I decided to not include that. It's going to be on a first half total. And it's going to be between the Washington football team, save myself there, and the Philadelphia Eagles. And I'm going to be going with the first half under 21.5, which is available on FanDuel at plus 100. First of all, every other book for the most part is 20.5, and a DraftKings has 20.5 with juice to the under. And Fox Bet, I believe, also has 20.5. Yet FanDuel has 21.5, so you're already getting an extra point of value over a key number, which is always very important. But there's just been a lot of issues for me with regard to both these teams for the sake of their training camp, etc. To address Washington's offense, you're relying on an unproven running back with Dwayne Haskins as your quarterback behind a below-average offensive line. Not exactly an appealing option there on offense. And especially with the secondary, now that the Eagles now have Darius Slay to go with Darby, I think their secondary is actually capable now. I think it's decent. And I think I think that the football team will struggle as a result. At some point, I'm going to get used to the new name. But anyway, for the Eagles, they've had a lot of issues on offense. I know Rieger, who was supposed to be out, is now probably going to play. Wentz missed some time with injury because of a soft tissue issue. They lost a couple offensive linemen due to injury. The Redskins' defensive line should be really good with Kerrigan, Young, and Jonathan Allen. I think it's going to be a very sloppy first half. I think it's going to be a very low-scoring first half, 13-7, 10-7. I think it's going to be really low-scoring. And I think that also explains why this total in the full game has gone from roughly 45 to 42.5. I know the weather's supposed to not be great either. I think the first half's going to be ugly. So I'm going to go with the first half under 21.5, which is available on FanDuel or Plus 100.
Okay. Yeah, I don't hate that. I don't. I think that's solid. I wouldn't be
question marks on both offenses.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of first half unders, as a lot of offenses could be sloppy.
Saw that with the Chiefs-Texans game.
Yeah, you did, and of course the Chiefs only showed about 20% of their offense there.
Correct, but I'm still very concerned with the Eagles' offensive line. And who are the receivers? I know Rieger's going to play, but probably. I mean, I know that Ertz is good. He's still pissed about his contract, but he's still going to play with Goddard. But you look at their team, and you have Alshon Jeffrey, who's injured. He's not going to play. You have Greg Ward, a converted quarterback who switched to wide receiver. And you got Deshaun Jackson, who is 34, who has been injured pretty much every single year of his career. They don't have any weapons. And Miles Sanders also injured in camp. He's going to play, but he hasn't been 100%. So a lot of questions on the Eagles' offense, and I think the Redskins' the football team's defensive line is good enough to force the Eagles into some punts. So I'll go with the under there.
Okay. All right. Solid play. Scott, for my last play, I'm going to go the opposite of the way you were looking. I'm going to take Atlanta plus 2.5, and I'll tell you why.
I said I didn't pull the trigger on Seattle, so that's fine.
This is a line that just smells suspicious to me, bud. This is just a play based on smell alone. I'm not gonna lie. Atlanta's catching 2.5 from Seattle. Seattle, not a great road team generally, although they were much better last year coming east. They used to be one of the big fade teams whenever they had to come east. But I think that I think a lot of people are. I know the Falcons were kind of a little bit of a trendy pick last year, early in the season, of course. And I think this could be the year that it actually happens. I still love this receiving core. I still love Matty Ice. I don't love their situation there at running back, but I think if Gurley's going to have a good game at all this season, I think there's a good chance this is going to be it. So
Seahawks defensive and offensive lines are also the worst units in football, or easily bottom 5.
Yeah, terrible offensive line for sure.
Defensive line's terrible as well.
Losing Jadeveon Clowney. So I think that Atlanta's going to have a little something for them there. I'm going to take the home dog on opening day, Scott. I think that's a solid play. And like I said, this is a play that's based just solely on the fact that Vegas is daring you to take the Seahawks. I'm not falling for the old banana in the tailpipe. I'm taking the Atlanta Falcons plus the 2.5 points.
I think that your logic checks out in terms of the fishiness of the line. The issue I personally have is that I sold my Atlanta stock years ago. I can't back this team. Atlanta's always one of those teams you'll get on paper and go, wow, this team is talented. And then they always start off slowly, and you wonder, why is Dan Quinn back for another year? I have more faith in Pete Carroll than Dan Quinn. And that's just how I view it. But also in a close game, I'm taking Russell Wilson over arguably any other quarterback in the league.
Well, you're close. But
I said arguably. I didn't say that he was the no doubt quarterback I would take in any close game, but Wilson has to be up there, short list. At least well ahead of Matt Ryan, my opinion.
Maybe at this point in his career, I would probably agree with you. Do you think Seattle has a better receivers?
I think Julio Jones is tremendous, of course. I think that Calvin Ridley's injury-prone but very talented. I think Metcalf's going to have a big year alongside with Lockett.
I agree with that. Would you rather have – the question remains, would you rather have Metcalf and Lockett?
I'm taking Julio Jones over anybody. So
Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, you're giving me Julio Jones. I'm going to take Julio Jones. Just because I like Metcalf and Lockett doesn't mean I'm going to turn down one of the best receivers in my lifetime. So I'll go with Julio Jones.
Okay, very good. All right, so that's our six for Sunday. How about that? Is that a catchy name?
Works for me. I don't know if you're writing all of them down. I wrote them down myself. If you didn't know,
I did not write yours down.
I have them written down, so it's fine.
Okay, good, because I got the college ones written down. So there
Yep,
you
sounds
go.
good.
All right, guys, there you go. That's our third and final show of today.
Do you want to just recap the three-piece one more time before we wrap up?
Yeah, I've got. I'm taking
for the people that fast forward to the last.
Yeah, here we go. Okay, I'm taking the Packers plus 2.5, Bills minus 6.5, and Atlanta plus 2.5. Yours, Scott?
I'm taking Dolphins plus 7, Colts minus 8, and I'm taking the first half under 21.5 between the football team and the Eagles.
Very good. Very good. So there you have it. That is our 6 for Sunday. And we'll be back to give each other probably a pretty hard time here as after the week is over.
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it works out.
All right. Very good.
I'm already one up on you in basketball, so I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll let me live that down in a year or so. So that's good.
We'll work from there.
All right, there you go. So for myself, for Scott Reichel, for all of us over here at Winners and Winers, of course, don't forget to stop by and check out Winners and Winers for the very deepest dives anywhere on the internet in the NFL. If you don't believe me, get over there and check it out. You will find all the information, reams and reams of information, every possible matchup you would want at winnersandwiners.com. So get over there and check that out. Won't you? You guys have a great weekend. All right, let's. It's NFL. We didn't know what it would look like. We didn't know if we'd have NFL. We didn't know if we have college. We got a little bit of both. So let's go out there and have some fun, watch the games, make a little money, and enjoy it. And we'll see you next time on Today in Sports Betting. Take care, everybody.